Welcome to the CRAY Podcast, where we talk about community, purpose, and the power of God. At CRAY, we believe life is about more than what we achieve for ourselves. It's about how we show up for others, how we lift up the next generation, and how we turn compassion into action. This space is really for anyone who wants to live a little bit louder in love and give a little bit more generously, and really just find meaning in everyday moments. You'll hear stories of hope and leadership and recovery and growth from people who are making a difference right where they are, just being who they are. And our goal is simple: to remind you that you matter, your story matters, and together we can build a community that chooses light, faith, and purpose every single day. And today I am super excited to introduce to you a woman that has been in my life since I was 4 years old. She has a pretty inspirational story of recovery. Welcome, Casey.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be with you guys today.
Yes, I'm so excited that you're here. One thing that I was just thinking of and that I was just thinking is kind of cool and unique in this circumstance is that the Cray Foundation was inspired and even named after my cousin Corey. And you and I both had the privilege of growing up in the same neighborhood with him and going to school with him and getting to see him as a cute little baby kid and grow into a teenager and all throughout his life. So I know that we both had that chance to get to know him and love him. So I think that's really special.
Yes, yes,
I also think, we get to today, hear the things that you overcame. And I know a lot of the things that you went through and what you were going through are the same things that he was going through as well.
absolutely. Yes,
So
absolutely.
you're still here to tell that story, and he's not,
Praise God.
but you are. You're here. So with that being said, I know you have a pretty amazing story to tell us. So let's get into it. And before we get into where you are now with your recovery and how great you're doing, let's start at the beginning and take us back to when the addiction first became a struggle in your life. Tell us about, what happened.
Well, I was very into sports throughout my whole life, and I got into high school, and I was playing varsity softball. Got injured. Um, my future looked really good as far as going collegiate in sports, and I hurt my knee. I ended up having to have knee surgery, and I got a prescription of pain pills. And I loved them, and that after I got a prescription of them, I took them, and then when they ran out, I heard of other people that had them that liked to eat them, and so I started buying them off of the street. And you know, it went from there for a long, long time. It was just the pain pills, and then um, when I didn't have money to afford pain pills, and I was sick from withdrawals, I started doing meth or whatever I could get my hands on. To be honest with you, just to take the hurt, the aches and pains away from the withdrawals from the pain pills. Um, and just over time, it gradually went to heroin and then fentanyl and then IV drug use. And such a vicious, vicious cycle.
It is. I hear that a lot. That the pharmaceutical drugs that were rightfully prescribed to people are the journey that start the journey and start the path
Yep.
down this road that is uncontrollable. Yeah. So when you found yourself going through that season of your life, what were some of the things that you were facing? What were some of the hardest times that you feel like you had to overcome?
Well, like my dad and my grandmother have been my rock, my best friends. They are who raised me, and I didn't have to hide anything from them ever. but it got to a point with my drug addiction where I was ashamed and embarrassed to show my face in front of them or talk to them because they knew, you know what I mean? And I got to where I never stole anything from my dad or my grandmother, but I was stealing from other people that loved me and cared about me. And I've been to jail numerous times for shoplifting, things that that me now and me before drugs would never in a million years do. But, I lost a relationship with my dad and my grandmother for probably 10 years. There was a good 10 years that I didn't even lay eyes on my grandmother or hear her voice,
Mm.
and um homelessness. I was married for 15 years, but I married a drug dealer, and neither one of us ever worked. All he did was sell drugs, and so me and him just sat at home all day getting high,
Yeah.
or finding ways to hustle up money. Anyways, but yeah, homelessness. After I left my husband, um, I was homeless for a good 4 years, I guess, before I finally came to rehab. Went to rehab, um, but I can't tell you how many times I've slept in the bed of a truck in a cornfield on Grant Mountain. You know, you know what I mean, and in a shed with no power, going days and days without eating. It just it's awful. I,
Man.
lo- I lost everything. I lost absolutely everything that meant anything to me in this world.
Yeah. I mean, you start to lose the people around you, and then you start to lose hope in yourself. And
Yes.
yeah, and then I've heard that before. I've heard people tell me that, they lost once they lost the hope in themselves, that they just didn't feel like they deserved to get clean.
That's absolutely correct. That's you do feel you're once you have no self worth and all, you won't do you don't do anything to strive to be better. You just settle for the garbage. I mean, I hate to put it, but that's true. You don't care that you ain't showered and you're bruised up all over from shooting up and things. What I mean, you don't care what nobody thinks, and that's so sad.
It is, it is. Is there a specific moment that you can remember when you're going through all of these hard seasons that you just mentioned, that you just kind of decided that enough was enough, that you came to this point where it was, I can't do this anymore?
Yes. So my ex-husband, when we split up, he ended up going to jail, and he was looking at a prison sentence. And instead of getting a prison sentence, they offered him to go to a sober living house down here in Gulf Shores. And he went down, he got clean. He had been clean for about 2 years, and he came back to Huntsville in May of 2022, or the end of April of 2022, to visit his family. And once he got sober, he was still reaching out, which I never had a phone. Like, if I had a phone, it was because I was using somebody's Wi-Fi, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he would reach out to me on Facebook when he would come to town just to check on me, because at this point he had been sober for like 2 years. And he called me one day and was like, "Look, I'm fixing to go back home." He's like, "I'm up here visiting my family. I'm about to go back home. There's a rehab down here in Gulf Shores, and I'll be more than happy to swing by where you're at and pick you up and take you there. And whatever you need while you're in the program, I'm just right up the road." And we he and I grew up together pretty much, and so there was not any hard feelings between the two of us. We're still friends to this day. And I was the night he called me and was like, "I'll come get you tomorrow on my way home." I slept in a shed with no power, hadn't ate or slept in about 3 days. I had a tiny little book bag, like just a little book bag with a couple of shirts and a pair of pants and some raggedy tennis shoes in it, and I was just like, "Look, it can't, going with him can't be no worse than what I just went through last night. So I said, let's see what happens. I had nothing left to lose at that point.
That's amazing. So it took one person reaching out to you.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, because
Wow.
I'm still friends with a lot of people from back home on Facebook. I don't communicate with a lot of them, but I still see their posts on Facebooks and things like that, and it's nothing has changed.
Mm.
Everybody's still going to jail. Everybody's still overdosing. Everybody's homeless. So, it's just stealing cars. It's crazy how nothing has changed. And I just, something made me feel like if you just get away from this place, things might be different for you.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
amazing. That's it's amazing that he reached out to you and took that step and it's very inspiring just as going through our daily lives. And I think we both said this before the we started recording is that, if you can just make a difference in one person's life, it all is worth it. And it sounds like
that's
you did
right.
that.
That's
So,
right.
throughout your recovery journey, how do you feel like, or let's just say, what about the recovery journey made it stick for you? Why did it work this time?
Well, so I've never even attempted to get sober before. I've never even put forth the effort.
Mm.
But I've never, the only time I've ever been to church growing up is like with you and your mom and your grandmother when we were little bitty, and like going to Sunday school and things like that. I've never been brought up in church. And, my rehab was a faith-based program. And I remember the first day that I was actually allowed to leave the rehab house that we were at was the first Wednesday that I was there. I'd been there for like 4 days. I was still so sick. I was so sick. And it was in Foley, and we went to this church. And I I don't know what came over me, obviously the Holy Spirit. But I just sat in the front of that church and just let it all go. Just let it go.
Mhm.
And anyway, so I just the people that you surround yourself with could not be more important in your recovery.
Amen.
The people, and that's why I moved the 300 miles from home. And I still got so much love for all those people back home, but the people down here, every one of them has nothing but my best interest at heart.
Yeah.
And they genuinely love me and care about me and would do anything in this world for me if I needed something. And to to have for people to trust me, like people don't realize, they're people that's not drug addicts don't realize what a big deal having trust feel what that means. But my dad, or anybody for that matter, but my dad is who it means the most to me. Um, I can go in his house, and I can be in his house alone, and he don't have to come sneaking around the corner to snoop and check and see what I'm doing, make sure I'm not going through his drawers and stuff. And like I just I feel like I'm one of the lucky ones that got it the first go around. There's so many people that just go to rehab and treatment after treatment after treatment that just won't get it.
Yeah.
But I have surrounded myself with an amazing group of women that believe in what believe in and have been through what I've been through, and we're each other's rock. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now had I not have the women that I do in my life.
That's absolutely amazing. It sounds like a couple of things happened there. One, you decided that you have to surround yourself with people that you want to be like.
Yes.
And that people that inspire you, and then two, you had an encounter with Jesus, and he is Jehovah Rapha, the healer, and it sounds like he that is one of the reasons that your faith has been a pretty big rock in keeping you clean.
Absolutely.
It's awesome. I know that just being in this around this and having people in my life that have been going through these hard times and getting clean and um it's it, it's always been almost like this roller coaster ride of clean and off of the path and off the journey and then back clean again. um have you had any moments where you felt like you were going to stumble, and was there certain people there to help you?
Luckily, I feel like if I could say yes, that would be a better answer to help other people in recovery. But for me, no. I mean,
That's absolutely amazing, though.
you're right. It's. I mean, I just, me and my boyfriend talk about this all the time because he's in recovery too, and like, just if you have been dope sick one time in your life, or you've been drunk and then had to deal with the hangover the next day, and you know what that feels like, you don't ever want to feel like that again.
Yeah,
And for me, like, I know that if I were to get like that, my first thought is, what's gonna make me feel better? Let's go find something to get high on. You know what I mean? And
mm,
so I have no desire whatsoever to put myself in the situation to even put that thought in my mind.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Really powerful. And you were just talking too about you had an anniversary yesterday.
3.5 years, yes, ma'am.
Woo! That is awesome.
It's
That
so
is
I like
awesome.
thinking about the past. I didn't think 3 days was possible, you
Yeah,
know. And now
it
I'm over 1,000 days. It's wild.
is
And
wild.
but it just gives
Wild.
me that kick in the butt to just keep kicking butt, you know?
Keep going. Yep. What is something or someone that inspires you every single day to stay sober?
Hmm. Well, my my stepson, he's not actually my stepson, it's my boyfriend's son. Oh gosh, I didn't want to have to go there, but I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go here. So my stepson, Caleb, his dad and his mom have been addicts the majority of his life, and now my boyfriend Cody, has been sober just a few months less than I have, and him and Caleb all live together. We are a happy little family now, and Caleb tells me all the time that I'm more of a mom to him than his mom has ever been to him in the 13 years he's been on this planet. And
Wow.
I don't have kids. I don't know nothing about being a mom. And but I'm doing the best that I can, and it being able to work and provide for him and put a smile on his face and make sure he has the things that he needs is really all that I need to keep going forward. I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine because my mom was not in my life for a long time. And when she wasn't the best of a mother. But I couldn't imagine Caleb having to live this life with, like, his mom is still doing that. She's still in it, hardcore still in it. And I don't know, being able to be there and be that for him, that alone in itself is all that I need to stay sober and
That's
keep
pretty amazing.
going to work, and doing what I need to do to make ends meet and make sure that he's got what he needs.
It sounds like you know a lot about being a mom. Give yourself a little bit more credit there. That's all it takes, Casey. I always say there's a quote that I love, and it's "We rise by lifting others." And I think that you figured that out very well, is that when we stop focusing on ourselves and we focus on how we can help other people, we end up in putting ourselves in a better situation, in a better position.
That's so true. When you do good things happen for you. And that's all I want to do is, I've got social anxiety really bad, but now that I'm sober, I don't have to hide my face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I make sure that anybody I interact with at the convenience store or wherever, I make sure I have a great day. Like,
Mhm.
you don't know what somebody's going through. Make it lift, like you said, lifting somebody up and making them feel better about themselves or making them smile. Like, you just don't even know what good that's doing for the other person. And it makes you, as a person, feel amazing.
Right. Yeah. And it's almost like if they can see just a little bit of Jesus shining off of you, that
That's
maybe they
right,
can
girl.
find it too.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, people, hopefully there's someone out there listening to this podcast that needs it. Maybe they're looking for inspiration to either get sober or stay sober. What's something that you would tell someone that's listening that maybe feels hopeless or stuck or on the verge of going back into addiction?
Find find your people. Find the people that God meant for you to have in your life. Um, don't give up. For God's sakes, don't give up. I mean, I was in it for 20 years, and you know, if I can, I know everybody says this, but if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, just please don't give up. Reach out. Reach out. Please reach out.
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook seeing people that I don't know all the time posting things about they're struggling, and y'all don't know me, but I'm going to chime in and tell you you are worth fighting for. Don't let nothing anybody says or that you don't let your past define you. Just please hang on and keep pushing. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I swear there is.
Yes, there is. Amen. I love it. I'm going to ask you one last personal question. When you think
Okay.
about your future and the future that you have right now, what is exciting you the most?
That the possibilities are endless. Like, I mean, to sum it all up, I mean, my my mother-in-law and I have started our own business, and it's just now starting to pick up. You know what I mean? But I haven't worked in 20 years. You know, and to see how I've got so much to look forward to, and I'm still struggling with, like, once when you get into recovery, you have a past. Everybody in recovery's got some kind of past, as far as like court things, like
Yeah.
from from going to jail, things like that, probation and stuff like that. And I'm still I'm 3.5 years clean, but I'm still having to clean up the mess that I made all that long time ago.
Mhm.
But you have to take it one day at a time, baby steps, but it's happening and I see it happening. And I know that God He let me live through my addiction. He has something big planned for me. I don't know what it is, but I'm ready to take it on.
I love it. I love it. I just feel like maybe you should be a pastor because you've got a lot of great things to say. People need to
Girl,
hear
I
your
can write a
stuff.
book, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think, when you talked about the possibilities being endless and really, what are the possibilities that you and I would be here today together talking about this and reunited after so many years? And I mean, it's
It's
just the
so crazy.
possibility alone unraveling is pretty amazing.
Yes, if that wasn't God sent, I don't know what is.
I know, I
Like
know.
all.
I
I hate that
still,
it had to happen under the circumstances that it did, but it's for a bigger, better, greater cause. I feel like.
you can kind of look back and you see God's hands on things, and sometimes
Absolutely.
sometimes we can't see it until it starts to unfold. And, I think there's bigger and better things that are going to happen in our future too. And I don't see us disconnecting after this point. I
No,
think you're stuck
no.
with me now,
Yeah,
Casey.
absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I still remember playing softball in your front yard, and
Oh my gosh. Do
about
you remember when you hit me in the face with the baseball
to say that.
bat? Gosh. Oh my gosh.
That was so funny.
Golly.
We had a great
Whew.
time. We had a great
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
growing up in the old Spring Hill farms.
I know.
I
I
love
remember running. I remember we were at your house and I had your tennis shoes on and we were running from your house to Corey's house
it.
and I tripped running on the sidewalk and I skint up my hands and my knees and my elbows and I swore up and down that the reason I fell down was because you had left-handed tennis shoes and I'm right-handed. I was like, Chastity is left-handed and her tennis shoes are left-handed. That's why I fell down.
Yeah, that's the reason. That's the reason.
Oh
I always think about that time that you stepped in that ant hill at the
God.
top of the road and you were just covered in ants.
Oh,
And it was so scary. I'm still afraid of ants to this day because of that.
oh, do you remember when we chased Bongo?
No.
The Dalmatian
Oh my gosh.
Matt
Yes.
and Alex and Ethan's Dalmatian that was so mean, and he got out and ran to like the far side of our neighborhood, like when
Yeah.
they were, and we all chased that dog all over that neighborhood. I got in so much trouble for that. Yeah,
Miles. We ran for miles.
yeah. we we thought we was doing the right thing trying to catch that dog, but
Yeah, he wanted nothing to do with us.
no, no, that dog was so mean. Gosh.
That's so funny.
Ah,
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really just appreciate your story. It's so very inspirational. I hope that, as we said, the one person that needs it hears it. And if
absolutely.
it's just one person, then we've done what we've come here to do today.
That's right. Well,
So
thank you so much for having me. Like you said, I hope one person gets something good out of it.
I hope
Reach
so.
out. Just
Yeah,
reach out.
call us.
Yes, please.
All right. Well, if you're listening today and today's conversation moved you at all, we hope that you share it with someone that may need it as a reminder that hope is still alive and that we all rise by lifting others. And to learn more about how you can be a part of our mission, whether through giving, volunteering, or just spreading the word about hope and about God, visit thecrayfoundation.com. And together, let's keep living with purpose and loving with faith and lifting each other up.